Hi, my loves. Okay, so for this week's money healing, and I'm just noticing that I am wearing my Jesus shirt in case you haven't seen it before or one like it. Oh, you can't read it. It says, I never said that, Jesus. It's my favorite thing. Um, so sorry, I was just looking at my phone because I actually have something up on my phone to talk to you about. It's a post it's by the holistic psychologist on Instagram, someone I trust. I really resonate with the information. It feels really good. She's wonderful. And she had a post a day or two ago called The Symptoms of Money Trauma. And this is something that I've been investigating in my own life. My traumas around certain things. Until just a few months ago, I wouldn't even have applied the word trauma to any of my experiences. But the more I dig into it, the more I realize so many of my experiences are just like this traumatized. Anyway, that's not the point of this. Although I was just thinking about how fascinating it is that when I channel this information for us, magic, everything is possible, love and light, I believe it so fully. It feels so real to me. But what's also so real is our human experience, the kind of, currently trauma echo chamber that we're existing in, especially as sensitive people. Because all humans are experiencing some level of trauma, and almost all of us are very sensitive. So many of us are. And so, we're feeling their trauma and they're feeling ours. And anyway, this is something I'm still working through. But what I wanted to work with today is money trauma, simply because when I read this post, and I'll read it to you in a minute. When I read this post, I started to check in energetically around, okay, where is my money trauma? What does it feel like? How do I see it in my mind's eye when I check in with the energy? Because of course that's what we're doing in these videos, and that's what I do in a lot of my work. I check in on the energy and then start to shift it, heal it, ask what it needs, interact with it, basically just, try to come into some sort of relationship with it so that, I can live a life that feels really good to me and you can live a life that feels really good to you, and hooray. So here's the post before we continue on. Symptoms of money trauma: obsessively checking bank accounts or completely ignoring them, inability to concentrate throughout the day, using substances to cope with or escape from money problems, intrusive thoughts about worst-case financial scenarios, shallow chest breathing, isolation from socialization because of lack of funds, feeling shame/being secretive about financial state. So, if you feel like none of those apply to you or this triggers you in some way, I would, encourage you, if you're feeling triggered right now, either just keep going with this video or pause and just take some deep breaths with your heart and just check in for yourself. Like, okay, is this the right thing for me to be engaging with right now? Is this true? Is this not true? What do I need to know right now? Because of course, we always want to engage with our own heart and our own inner wisdom first. But I know for me, when I read this, I was like, oh, check, 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 check. Honestly, I go back and forth between completely ignoring my bank account and checking it every day. Although actually, what I will say about that piece of it is that a lot of very powerful money women that I follow, like beautiful business women, really wonderful spiritual teachers, people who have a lot of money and seem to have really amazing energy with money, say that they're very intimate with their bank account, in terms of, being present with it every day, seeing what's coming in, seeing what's going out. And so that doesn't have to be obsessive. It all just depends on how it feels to you. Like if we're obsessively checking it, and fear's coming up and oh my God, it's just kind of re-traumatizing, re-triggering you, then that kind of applies. But when it feels like just being intimate, the way you would check in with your child every day or talk to your husband every day or, see them throughout the day, it's just that sort of difference in experience. Yeah, inability to concentrate, and of course there can be many, many reasons for that, but I guess it is a symptom of money trauma, which I found fascinating. Substances, yeah, as a note, I was off sugar and alcohol for many, 4 years, earlier, like in my 30s, and I sort of drifted back, and I'm stepping away from it again, like fully stepping away from sugar and alcohol, because I know that, it's not good for my body. It doesn't serve me or my journey or my relationships or my triggers. That's sort of an aside. Is there a reason I'm bringing this up? Simply because it's not about being off sugar or off gluten or off meat or off dairy or anything in particular. It's just about really asking, like, okay, what does my body and my life and my money need, in terms of nourishment right now? I think that can be a really beautiful, valuable question to ask ourselves. Okay. Yeah, intrusive thoughts about worst case financial scenarios. Whoa, yeah, that's a big one for me. Shallow chest breathing. I wouldn't have associated that with symptoms of money trauma, but for years I've struggled with kind of shallow breathing. One of the reasons that I'm so gung-ho about energy healing, this kind of remote energy healing that we do together in these videos, and energy healing, in the presence of a practitioner, and all different kinds of modalities, is because I often come away from sessions, or, sessions, whether I'm giving them to myself or receiving them, able to breathe, able to feel like I can get to the top of the breath with, not being fearful that I won't be able to breathe. So I just found it fascinating that was also a symptom of money trauma. Okay, isolation from socialization because of lack of funds, feeling shame, being secretive about financial state. Absolutely. Absolutely. These are all symptoms of money trauma. So, we can dig into that more if you want. Just send me an email, and I can keep that in mind for future weekly healings. But for now, what I wanted us to do this week is to just investigate that energy of money trauma. And maybe what we'll experience when we clear this energy is a huge shift, a huge shift out of money trauma. Or perhaps this will just be another tool along with the brain rewiring, the checking in on our own programming. One of the best things we can do for ourselves with trauma, money, or, excuse me, my nose is dripping a little bit. Yay. One of the best things we can do with ourselves for trauma, money or any other type, is to be very mindful and be, God, that's a terrible word. I feel like that's something, it's a great word, but it gets thrown around a lot. And so what does that mean? For me, that means just being very aware on a moment-to-moment basis of what my brain is doing, what my energy is doing, what my heart is doing. Maybe is my heart beating really fast? Do I feel like I can't connect with my heart? Is my energy jagged and vibrating? Are my thoughts cycling? Am I in fear? And one of the really beautiful things that Jeff Foster teaches, and I bring him up just because I was reading his ebook yesterday and I found it very helpful. I'm sure you can find it online. Is that it's about being mindful, but not as a goal, not as okay, I'm going to be conscious and present in my life, or I'm going to be conscious and present and mindful so that I can have things, which of course is where I tend to sort of lean sometimes. It's more about simply befriending yourself, making a safe space for yourself to engage in all of your experience as a human, the light and the dark, the sun and the shadow, the happiness and the trauma, and make every experience okay, removing the negativity, like not even removing the negativity because that implies its own judgment, but just being really neutral and the curious observer of your own state, and just stepping into that for just a moment, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, a minute, just being like, all right, meeting yourself exactly where you are in that moment without judgment, that kind of mindful presence, and then when a thought shows up or a traumatized wound shows up or you get triggered, meeting yourself as, as if a child had, walked in and was cold and shaking and exhausted because it had been ignored for so long. What would you do? Would you like try to lock it out and go put on your headphones? Or would you, give it a hug and, do you want a nap? Do you need to use the bathroom? Do you want a meal? Just really asking what is needed in that moment with that feeling, that trauma, that trigger, that thought, that little haze of fear, what it needs in that moment. So this is a bit of a tangent because what we're doing today is playing with the, the energy of this money trauma. So the way, when I checked in with this for myself after seeing that post, was it felt to me like I had a cloak it was like a cloak of static around me. Checking into the energy of money trauma, and I was like, holy shit. It was almost like an electric fence. So what is going to keep things out of my experience, things like love and money and abundance, and an energetic electric fence is going to keep it out? Holy crap, right? So this is what I want to play with today. So, what I did was I kind of checked in, and it was almost like I could shed that cloak, and it felt like a huge relief, and then I checked in again later. I was like, oh, there's another layer under there, and I shed that cloak as well. So I think what we're going to do is do a bit of a meditation. I'll probably channel something and some healing around that staticky money trauma cloak. And, actually, let me check in. Is this how it looks for everybody? Okay, not necessarily everybody, but if you're watching this video, this is a pretty good analogy of what the energy is going to look like for you. So if, and if you check in and you see it differently or feel it differently, of course, work with that. But I'll be referring to it as that staticky energy cloak of money trauma. So maybe I'll have to think of a better name for that. So let's play with this. All right. So let's just take a moment. If you have some water with you, that's great. If you want to pause this and grab yourself some water, perfect, because of course, when we do this energy healing, the energy is being transmitted from me to you and into your water, and the water can help you integrate this. And, I was doing a fair amount of work with myself yesterday, but after some of this work with the money trauma, I slept really hard. I needed that rest. So, if you have some space to rest after this, if you need it, you might not, you may feel really energized. It depends on where you are right now. But just know that if you need to rest or nap after this or go to bed a little early tonight, please give yourself the space to do that and the room to do that, because that's how we integrate. That's how we really fully receive. It's like the savasana at the end of the yoga class, teachers really want you, yoga teachers really want you to just be in that savasana, because that's how the work that you've just done for your body is allowed to sink into your body, and you recalibrate and you're rewiring and repatterning. And so we want to give ourselves that's, the nap afterwards, the rest afterwards, the integration afterwards is as important as the work itself, as the healing itself. So if you've ever felt bad about taking naps or needing more rest than other people seem to, don't. Guilt-free napping all the way. Guilt-free lying down all the way. And I am rambling again. So just feel yourself in your body. Feel your heart beating in your chest. Just breathe into your heart for a moment. Knowing that this is your time. This is your space to connect in with yourself, to understand yourself more deeply, to love yourself fiercely in your humanity as well as in your divinity, to feel safe in your energy and in your body. So just allow everything to drop away. Any worries, any thoughts, anything you need to do later, just allow it all to shift. You can drop it into your heart or imagine it falling into the earth. We have Archangel Michael drawing a circle for this healing, for the space of transformation, the space of meeting ourselves more deeply. So let's take a few breaths together. You can breathe in whatever way feels best to you. In, out, in, and out. Just keep breathing and focusing on your heart and the energy of your heart, breathing into your heart, feeling your heart beat. Okay, so see a pillar of white light in front of you. Imagine stepping into that pillar of white light. This is God, this is Source, this is Spirit, this is the universe, this is pure love. This is the energy that we all are in our own unique ways. So step into this pillar of light knowing that here you are safe, you are loved. This is a beautiful place to ask questions about your own energy and ask questions about what is next for you on your path. So here, just take a moment and check into any layers of money trauma that might be around your energy or inside your body. Wherever this money trauma might be showing up, just check in. You may see it as a cloak of static electricity, a veil of electric barbed wire. You may see it and feel it as something else. So now we ask to clear this in the way that is in our highest good and the highest good of all. So you can just imagine yourself shedding this cloak or peeling off this layer and handing it to Archangel Michael. Might even just stick his hand into your little white pillar so you can give this to him and he can take it out for you and clear it for you, dispose of it for you. Or maybe you prefer to imagine your higher self taking it for you, your divine self, your wise self. And so as you remove this staticky layer, feel into that space. And ask what that space needs. Maybe it needs violet light or gold light. Just see whatever color space, whatever color light this space needs. See it filling, covering, cloaking, filling that space with light. Know that as you clear these layers of energy of money trauma, you are going to be able to more clearly, easily, more calmly, with more grace, you're going to be able to meet yourself and your experience with money. You're going to be able to meet yourself and your bank account. You're going to be able to meet yourself and your debt. You're going to be able to, if you have it, You're going to be able to meet yourself and any money goals you might have with more presence, with more allowing, with a greater ability to fully step into what you'd like to create for yourself with money, what you'd like to receive with money. So check back in and let's see if there's another layer. Might not be as crackling, might not be the same color. See if there's another layer under there. And then just ask if that layer needs anything, if it's ready to just be dissolved, if it's ready to be cleared and taken off. So just take off the cloak of that second layer. Maybe almost ball it up in your hands. Hold it. And give it some love. Give yourself love for operating with this money trauma for so long. Because of course, most of us have money trauma depending on our experience, our families, parents' experiences with money, our current situation. Whatever it is, you've likely been living with some form of money trauma for a long time. And so just offer yourself love and the gift of attention. And just say, I'm sorry I've ignored you for so long. Thank you for protecting me in the best way you knew how. What do you need now? And maybe you just give that balled up energy a hug and it just dissolves. Maybe it asks to go back into the light, and so you can hand it to your higher self or to Archangel Michael and know that it's being sent home. So now feel gold light filling the space where that layer of energy of money trauma used to live. And just feel your energy softening, releasing, taking a deep sigh of relief, knowing that things are going to get better. Your experience with money is going to improve. Your experience with yourself is going to improve. As we love ourselves, love our experiences, and meet our experiences, even if we can't love them, even if we feel so far away from loving ourselves or our experiences, at least we can meet them with compassion. So breathe into this. See how you feel. See if there's anything sticky in your body. See if you have any energy anywhere that wants some more attention. Just breathe. Take some water if you need it. And while we're still in this pillar of light, this pillar of white light, ask your energy what else it needs to heal from this release of this energetic trauma. Ask what your energy needs. What does it need from you? Does it need to go sit under some trees? Does it need a nap? Does it need a lot more water? Just ask and see what answer you get. If you don't get an obvious answer now, just know that the answer will come, whether in the next hour, day. You'll know what to do. Your body, your energy will tell you what it needs. Then take a moment and ask, what's next for me? with my experience of money? What's next for me for around building an intimate relationship with myself and my money and my experience with money? Of course, money is just energy, and in many ways, our experience with money and our feelings about money reflect our feelings about ourselves, our experience about ourselves. Of course, this is about money, but it's also not about money. Dear higher self, dear God, dear Archangel Michael, whoever you most feel connected with, you most want to ask, what can I do next? Where would you have me go? What would you have me do? You can also ask yourself, what do I desire next? What sounds like the most fun to me? What would I most love to experience next? Play with it that way. Whichever way creates the least resistance, go with that. Some days I'm more excited by asking myself what I want. Some days it feels much easier to ask, all right, how would you have me serve? How would you have me show up? What would you have me do? What can I do next? Dear God, what can I do next? Also just ask to be shown. Please show me. Please show me what's next so clearly that I can't miss it. Please show me. So that sometimes if we don't hear the guidance, or we feel like maybe we can't trust the guidance, or we don't understand the guidance, or we don't want to do the guidance, we can just ask, please show me. Please show me so clearly that I can't miss it. Please show me gently. Please show me with love. Please help me through this experience, giving me the wisdom and the energy and whatever I need to do this in a way that feels good, a way that feels supportive to me and my life. I can always ask for that. Just take a moment to do whatever else you'd like to do in this pillar of white light. And when you're ready, step out of the pillar of white light. Knowing that you've just cleared something pretty significant, and working with the energy of money is such a profound way to allow ourselves to do what we need to do in the world, to show up for ourselves in the way we'd like to show up for the world in the way we'd like to show up. And it can just help us shift out of that resistance state, out of that state of creating things that we don't want or we're not sure how we got them, and into a place where we're co-creating more consciously and more powerfully. So again, feel free to come back to this video anytime you want. And also you have the imagery, you have the basic setup. You can do this on your own. I think I may spend some time every day over the next week or two and just check in with that money trauma energy and see, okay, does it shift? Does it change? What does it look like now? What does it need now? And just see how my own experience shifts around, around receiving and around, all the various money things that need to happen in life. So hope this was helpful. I'm sending you lots of love, and I will see you next week. Mwah.